This is my week 6 oral presentation video, and my topic of choice is self-empathy. I chose this topic since in chapter 7 of Nonviolent Communication we had learned about empathy, and I have worked on practicing that with others. I do it at the workplace, I do it a lot in a personal life, and I recognize the fact that I also need to start doing it for myself. I tend to be very hard on myself in the workplace, or if I make small mistakes at home, mentally and physically. So I realized I should probably start treating myself the same way I have been treating others. And so when I actually looked into self-empathy for this topic, I came up with all these articles and how people had talked about the importance of self-empathy and how it can help you to be more empathetic towards others. And I wish I'd realized that sooner because it makes so much sense. For me, a lot of the times I get hard on myself for the little mistakes, and instead of telling myself like, oh, you're being an idiot, or oh, that was so stupid, I've been trying to think about the other factors of why I may not be 100%, and it could be because I've had a really long day, or it could be because I'm stressed about something else going on. But recognizing that or thinking outside of myself has helped me to handle those moments of mistakes better. And I usually don't hinge or linger on them for the rest of the day. And it just has proven to make me better. And I'm sure my interactions with people after those moments are better as well. So I've been working on extending grace, compassion, and listening to my body, even though it can be hard. But I think that once I can conquer that, I will then be able to extend myself even more and genuinely to others who need my empathy, and hopefully hold back the judgment and comparison that tends to be in my mind in some of those moments. On page 103 of Nonviolent Communications, Rosenberg has a little gray box on the side of the page, and it simply says, we need empathy to give empathy, which is a very straightforward statement. And I started thinking about that as how we need to give self-empathy in order to pass it on to others. Because if we can't relate, then how are we supposed to be empathetic? That's in the definition of empathy, is that we need to do our best to understand and be aware and relate to what someone is going through or may be going through. I also found an excerpt from Dr. Helen Rice's book, The Empathy Effect, and it says, when you learn to become more compassionate with yourself, you learn to treat others with similar kindness. So again, very straightforward, but it is something I've had to learn, and if it's something I can learn and absorb and automatically start doing for myself, then hopefully it'll just flow out of me and automatically move on to others as I interact with them. Understanding the feelings of compassion and how it may change my life will ultimately help me give that to others. So empathy, I believe, is surrounded by many things like compassion, awareness, sensitivity, understanding, and humility. And all these things are languages of the heart. And speaking from the heart is something Rosenberg has talked about, and how it can be a more genuine way to share with others. Even if we aren't saying anything, the emotion of awareness or sensitivity, or even just the standing in humility to listen to someone, is a way to speak to them from the heart that can make them feel more listened to, more important, more special, more loved, and whatever they're needing in that moment in order to feel that someone is empathizing with them. And so if we can't do that with ourselves, like I've said this already, if you can't do that with yourself, then how are you supposed to be able to genuinely do that and pass that on to somebody else? This is a super important like loop of empathy almost, where it's like you have to practice it in order to put it out there, or to preach it, practice it to preach it. And so we have to learn to receive empathy from ourselves and others first, before we can then go on and give it to others. And so really it creates this empathy loop of just giving and receiving and giving and receiving. And we just need to acknowledge that and work towards it as best we can. And yeah, that's what I have to say.